Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Anonymous Code. In the last episode, we finally finished off the third quest that has been provided to us here in this story, which has been I don't know if you want to say the biggest quest, but definitely, more fatalities that could be occurring if we fail. Very similar to the first quest. The second quest was more of, well, the whole world is screwed if we fail, so I guess you could say there'd be some fatalities from that as well. Either way, things would not be good if we failed any of these quests. And this one was another very quick, very dangerous quest. And this one had the most amount of obstacles that we've seen in a quest yet. But just like all the others, Pollon was able to figure things out. But we got to give a lot of credit to the team here. Everybody really put their hands in and went to work, honestly, on this one. Especially Cross coming up with the solution of, or really the overall idea of what was going on here with the whole Li-Fi thing. So, huge kudos to him. Win really showed up because he actually had to do some really dangerous work and somehow survived and did not get injured. So everyone just really, cooperated. Even the idle cops, like they were right there in the middle of the action. So just happy to see it. Everybody really had a part to play in this one. And this was a good success because from it, we got to actually have a little bit of not a conversation with Cicada, but we got a video from him. And we now know the identity of Cicada. It is an Amadeus of Kent Korihisha. So Kent's absolutely dead. That has now been confirmed. But now we now know who Cicada is, and we got a little bit of information here. First off is that there's a tragedy that's going to be coming up here in a week from now. And after that, we have the last-ditch efforts in order to save the world, which is now a possibility. We know it to be a possibility according to Cicada. But we got to get there first. We have a problem coming up in one more week. Also, just a heads up as we jump into this recording here, I adjusted my audio settings slightly, so if I sound different in this, well, that's why. It's mostly just my volume. I didn't realize this, but for a few episodes or so, who knows how long, my audio was just a teeny tiny bit louder for some reason. It got bumped up, and I never realized it after all that time, so I'm now going to have it quieter than I used to just to see if it's better. And if it's not, then I'm just going to go back to the way it was before it accidentally got bumped up. So I guess, this we'll do it live with these experiments. We'll do it live. A short while later, Miss Lid sent an update about the Amadeus. Nice to have Kirisu playing a little bit of a part here. We haven't talked with her yet, and I don't know if we ever will, but hey, she's here, kinda.
彼はクリスのいる脳科学研究所に現れたみたい。どこかの研究室の研究者だと身分を偽ってね。
2012 was about when Kent Korihisha vanished from the Vatican.
アマデウスの研究のことを聞いて、プロジェクトに参加させてほしいと言ってきたそうよ。クリスとしても、コリッサ・ケントには才能があるって分かったから、その申し出を前向きに検討していたそうなんだけど。
Shit, we can even tell that he's pretty talented.
ということは、結局は実現しなかったんですか？
ええ。1ヶ月ほどしてある事件が起きた。その日を境に彼はぱったりと姿を見せなくなったって。
ある事件？
アマデウスのサーバーが正体不明のハッカーに侵入されたの。
That sounds familiar. Not entirely familiar, but there were some fun incidents that occurred back in Steins Gate Zero in regards to Amadeus.
そのハッカーが何者だったのかは20年以上経った今でも分かっていないわ。
Honestly, I never really thought about this, but the events of Steins Gate Zero won't necessarily happen. Okabe never got to meet Maho through that story, but I'm sure he was eventually able to, as well as the two other very notable individuals from that university. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name here, but yeah, they weren't good. They were bad people. And it really does make me wonder if maybe they're somewhat involved, or at least who they were working for were somewhat involved in whatever's going on here. Maybe, I don't know.
ね。状況証拠を考えると、コリッサ・ケントだろうな。
その時にアマデウスシステムに関するデータを盗まれた可能性はゼロじゃないわね。彼ほどの人間なら盗んだデータをもとに独自のアマデウスシステムだって構築できたでしょ。
Everybody's going for that AI. Shit, we even saw it in robotics notes. I brought that up in the last episode, but yeah, we quite literally saw AI work in robotics notes. It wasn't Amadeus, but I mean, it was clever how they went about it. I guess he turned himself into an AI with Amadeus so he can get away from the Holy Office 513. And after that, he put himself into cold sleep. With all that in mind, the one behind the quests had to be the Amadeus version of Kent Korihisha from the get-go.
クリスさんはコリッサ・ケントについて他に何か言っていませんでしたか？
あのシステムって昔から何度か盗用されているらしいから。
Oh yeah, well there you go. There we have it.
気持ちはわかるけど、私に不満をぶつけられてもね。とんだとばっちりよ。きっと今コリッサ・ケントに会ったら25年分の鬱憤を晴らすために徹底的に問い詰めるんじゃないかしら。
Not sure how she's going to do that, but yeah.
そのモードになった時の彼女っ
Let's
て
see it happen.
容赦ないのよね。はあ、怖い怖い。
Yeah, she is scary. I do wonder what she's or how she's doing in her later years now. How old would she be now? She was 18 or whatever in Steins Gate, right? So that's 2010. So 18 plus 2010 to now 20, well, we'll say 2037. So that's 27 years. She'd be in her, I don't know why, but like my IQ drops whenever I record. 30s or 40s, right? I did not read whatever that line was. I swear, guys, my IQ does fucking drop like a good 50 to 100 points. I'm probably in the negatives, actually, whenever I record. I had no idea Makise Kirisu had that side to her. I better keep my distance. Sorry, I'm used to calling her Makise Kirisu. Last name, first name. It's what I'm used to. Uh-oh. What's going on here? After hearing about what happened to the two deliberators, Felino Arcana fell to her knees where she stood. She moved as if overcome with grief.
Takaoka Pollon.
Yeah, that's us. Hello.
我らの動きをことごとく封じた。忌むべき蛇。かの者がもしも接触者なのだとしたら。
The what?
それは終末を望む我らにとって最大の脅威となりましょう。ならば、我らが取るべき行動は一つ。
Yeah, eliminate us. You know, we get it. We've seen this whole plot point before in other stories. Oh, there's a meddlesome kid. There's only one thing we must do to him. Felino reached to her side, taking in hand some paper documents, a rarity in this day and age. On the first page was a photo of a certain person. Uh-oh.
我らの元へと手繰り寄せるため、主の激しい怒りで満たされた鉢を必ずやこの地に傾けてみせましょう。
What are they gonna do to the poor kid? What are they... Actually, you know what? I think... uh-oh, shit. This woman looks terrifying. I think something was said that Asuma, his mother, may be involved somehow. And that's probably going to put Asuma in a situation where some sort of catastrophe may go down.
2029年の国際合意で開発が禁止された
This woman
量
is
子コン
very
ピューター
loud,
を用
by
い
the
た
way.
地球シミュレータシステムについて
This woman is very fucking loud for
政
like
府と
no
防衛省
reason.
が
早くも集まっています。
Damn, people really are not fans of the of this whole Earth simulator thing going on in secret.
地球シミュレーターって核よりも恐ろしい兵器だって言われているんですよ。
They are fucking scary,
そ
100%.
れをこっそり作
I
ってい
still
たっ
can't
て
wrap
いう
my
こ
head
とは
around them. Wait, he was incarcerated there? I didn't know he was like trapped there. But I see what's going on now. They're going to be causing the ruckus. The Holy Office 513, their plan is to now spread word about the Gaia and move from there. Things are now going to get a little tricky. Oz was in his office, watching the news projected onto the wall. Tonight, every news program and social media site was filled with talk of the Gaia Institute, the Earth simulator Gaia, and Asuma Soga himself. A certain news organization had blown the lid off all of them. They had refrained from revealing Asuma's name, but he was quickly doxxed, and his full name spread all over the internet. Oz was irritated, but not because he was worried about the government or the Gaia Institute. His concern was a far more pressing one.
オズ、カオルが来たよ。うわ、またスクリーンでニュース見てる。BMI 使えないよ。
うるせえ。
Nah, he's old school, it's okay. Koru entered the office. There was obvious fatigue on his face.
すみません。遅くなってしまって。
Well, if it's still New Year's, yeah, it's been a long fucking past 24 hours.
のんの。お前はもう寝ろ。
まだ眠くない。ないわかない。
だったら自分の部屋に行ってろ。
Oz watched Nono leave and then walked over to Koru.
ニュースは見たか。その顔は当然見たな。
ええ、把握しています。
なら聞かせろ。一体どういうことだ。
Good question.
俺たちが調べた情報じゃねえか。
殺されました。
Wait, what?
何？
数日前から行方不明。
Oh, wait, that's right. Okay, I was like,
先ほど報
who?
告が。
But okay, yeah.
冠城さんの遺体が今日の未明、横浜の埠頭で見つかったと。
Okay, wait, no, I'm thinking of the wrong person for sure. Who the fuck is this?
バカな。
おそらく明日の朝までには報道されるでしょう。
Kaburagi was a passionate and just man. Oz had met him through Koru, and they'd spoken enough for Oz to know what Kaburagi was like. Okay, yeah, this is not who I thought it was. I thought they were initially talking about the person who slit his throat in the previous episode, but no, this is most definitely somebody else. It was hard to believe that was how he had met his end. Yeah, this is going to lead into a slight bit of chaos. This will definitely lead a bunch of shit into some good old ruin. And we are now a week forward, so that ruin is about to be our current situation. In the end, we barely made it in time. A week had passed and Cicada, or Kent Korehisha, had sent me his request. We hadn't been able to do anything because we didn't know where Asuma Soga's mom was. Asuma had hidden every single trace of information on Miori Soga. Nakano Symphonies worked on it every day, but even with Wind, Oz, and the CCO helping, it took a whole week of sleuthing to get anywhere. The answer was right under our noses. We confirmed that she was being held somewhere inside the Gaia Institute. And that was only an hour ago. It was late, but I jumped on my grapper and came all the way. From here, I could see Umanomori, there we go, home of the Gaia Institute. We had to get inside and make sure that Asuma's mom was still alive. Our best bet was to find Asuma and ask him to help us find his mom, but we couldn't be sure he'd actually cooperate. I highly doubt he would. Why would he cooperate with us? He knows who we are, and he's not a fan of us. This mission might turn out tougher than any quest. But this is the real shit. This is the real deal. We've made it to this point. We are past the quests, and we are now on the trek of actually saving the world. Rosario had mentioned that they were probably involved. I had a feeling they'd get in our way too. Those guys never knew when to quit.
メディアに対する情報工作をしているのは確認した。マスコミを利用するのは政務室の常套手段だ。
People were talking about Gaia and Gaia all over the mainstream and social media. So this was all the Holy Office is doing. Yeah, they really created quite the commotion when it came to these Earth simulators. And of course, the Holy Office has their own, but nobody's going to give a shit about that. They don't even know about the Holy Office.
Rosario, 気をつけて。
そちらもな。
Momo and I were going to be infiltrating Guy. Rosario was handling something else alone.
ポロン、本当にこれからすぐに潜入するつもりか？準備もろくにしてないんだぞ。
Well, if things really do go wrong, we've got a save point here.
タイミング的に多少の無茶はしょうがないさ。
I did have a plan, though. I had already called in the backup we needed.
やるしか。 ありません。
ただ、
ギリギリなのはいつも通りだ。今回もやってやる。
これまでとはわけが違う。軍と政務室を同時に相手にするのは避けたい。慎重に動くのに越したことはない。
I mean, this isn't the first time that we've taken on two parties at once. I mean, we had Juno going after us, and we had the Holy Office at the same time. Juno was sort of doing her own thing, sure, but she was a separate party from the Holy Office members that were, or agents that were after us, of David and whatever the fuck that other guy's name was, Ronan. So this isn't the first time, it's just the scale is a little different. He didn't have to tell me that. I knew this was insanely risky.
だからって今から正々堂々アポを取るわけにもいかないだろう。
Guy's official number wasn't even connected this late. When I had called, an AI had politely told me to try again later.
正面から突っ込んでいくのも目立ちすぎるしな。今、あの周辺はマスコミやらデモ集団やらで人だらけだ。
Even the army was stationed here, but if I tried to explain things, they'd never buy the story. Hell, they'd just end up more suspicious of us. January 8th was a little over 2 hours away. We didn't know the exact time Miori Soga would die, so for all I knew, it was the exact moment the date changed.
でも、
Yeah, might as well
ビビり
just
すぎるのも良くないな。
create the minimum time limit here and work with that. You know, our time limit will be at least midnight of January 8th, and that will pressure us to work hopefully a little bit better.
軍が相手でも互角以上にやり合う方法はある。
それで私を呼び出したのね。
I guess that's our backup. Without so much as a sound, Juno appeared in front of me.
来たか。待ってたぜ。
絡むとは言ったけど、お前の駒使いになった覚えはない。
Well, I don't think that's the situation here. Juno closed her umbrella and glared at me.
舐めてるの？一緒に死ぬ？
その割に、こっちが指定した時間通りに来てくれたな。
むしろ、呼ばれなくても来る気満々だったわよ。
Well, then what's the fucking point?
なんならお前が連絡
What's
し
the
てきた
problem
直
here?
後から、そこの観覧車に乗っていた。
Oh,
もうすぐ4週目が終わるところだった。
what a fun pastime. She'd been waiting around. I messaged her a whole hour ago. Suddenly, she grabbed me and Momo by the hand.
始めるわよ。
Oh yeah, I guess we could just go right in, huh?
待った。まずは状況の説明を。
カデンツァ、即興的に。
I'm sure she's been listening in. Into the Gaia Institution we go, I suppose. I wonder what we'll see, what we'll come across. But it looks like we are, we're following Asuma here. Hey, Asuma Soga, you seeing this? How does it feel to deceive the government and the public and leech off our tax money? Oh yeah, what a lovely statement. Make Asuma Soga get on his knees and beg for forgiveness in front of camera. Still won't forgive, though. Yo, defect, Jesus Christ. I feel like that's what one of my friends would say. He's got that, like, edgy nature. Should torture that punk-ass Soga till he dies. Alright. I'm gonna record him cry and beg for mercy and then spread the vid all over the world. Okay, that's a little bit of a threat, especially when you have a username, but... let's go kidnap him, meet in front of Gaia Institution in 1 hour. Again, a little bit of a threat. Since yesterday, I've been quite the hot topic on news shows and social media. Yeah, you don't say. I was impressed that they managed to kick up such a fuss over such vague information. Honestly, that's usually all it takes, especially on social media. You put something really a serious topic of sorts out there. But if it's convincing enough and if it gets enough attention, people won't bat an eye. They'll just jump on it. Or perhaps it's the vagueness of the information that led to it blowing up the way it has. This man was my assistant, one of the few I allowed to enter Gaia's control room. Oh, most definitely.
お前が言ったんだろ。この騒ぎについて把握しておいた方がいいって。
今になってみれば、その判断は間違っていたと思っている。
これくらい別にどうってことない。早く出てけ。
Alright, Ewan left in silence. He really liked getting in the way of my work. Even this late in the day, he persisted. I really gotta wonder about that guy. I really hope he isn't bad. I do hope that, like, you know, he's good-natured. He definitely has good intentions going on here, especially for Asuma. But it's really hard to say. Who did he think he was, my handler? The media and the public alike were simply saying whatever made them sound righteous. It was all virtue signaling, drama for the sake of drama. None of it meant anything to me.
これはあるネットメディアの情報ですが、この少年はお父さんを自殺で失っているんですよ。
It happens.
その影響で、
It's not great,
少
but it
年が
happens.
何らかの闇を抱えている可能性が高いんです。
Wait a minute, this is just fucking NBC. You can see the goddamn fucking peacock there in the top left.
少年は今すぐに専門の機関でケアを受けさせるべきでしょう。
ソガースマのお父さんは会社で横領したのがバレてクビになったから自殺したんだって。
I was gonna say that this sounds, or actually looks like, oh yeah, hey, VTubers, yeah, they're still on the fucking rise, but this sounds like AI.
それはダサすぎる。
Yeah, very much so. Asuma Soga public execution win. Suicide stream. What the fuck? Damn, the internet can be brutal though. Hey, wait a minute, YouTube doesn't show the dislikes anymore unless they bring it back in the future.
俺の予想言おうか。これかなり確率高いと思うんだよね。
Yeah, they got the use of hashtags, right? I don't know why YouTube does that, but yeah, that exists.
ズバリ、母親は今頃どっかの男とよろしくやっている。だってさ、まだ中学生の息子が政府機関に監禁されて働かされてるのに、何のアクションも起こしてないんでしょ?
I thought it was something that he actually took pride in.
実は政府関係者の愛人になってたりするんだって。息子が晒し者になってる今もやりまくりだって。ああ、登場人物全員クズだわ。曽我家全員クソだわ。
Is this XQC?
母親は特にクソ。地獄に落ちろ。
Yeah, maybe he should have listened to Ewan. Wasn't a good idea to go back into the internet here. Before I could stop myself, I had thrown my mug at the floor. The warm milk inside spilled out. All these people were online. I could find out where they lived in minutes. How would they like it if I clapped back and doxed them? Oh yeah. The sound was an alarm that triggered when unauthorized persons... wait, hold on. Wait, what the fuck? The sound was an alarm that triggered when unauthorized persons... The premises? You mean entered the premises? We're missing a word there? I pulled up the building's security feeds. Yeah, where are we? I couldn't see them anywhere. I cycled through the cameras, but I couldn't find the intruders anywhere. I isolated the location where the sensors were tripped, and then checked the nearest cameras nearby. I rewound the recording. Everything seemed normal for a while. Oh, hey, there's our sprites. But there was a split second of people. 2 of the 3 were people I had seen several times this past month, Pollon Takaoka and Lucia. I watched them for a moment. Rather than walking out of frame, the 3 just disappeared where they were standing. Had this footage been doctored? No. A forgery would be more convincing. There were no signs that someone had tampered with the recording either. I mean, also, it's basically a live footage. Like this is like probably less than a minute ago. I looked for other security feeds that showed them. Oh hey, there's us. Our fucking default poses. I found one right away. The previous camera and this one were nowhere near each other. They were about 200 meters apart. It was a direct path between them, but still. Somehow they had moved between these points in under a second. And not just once or twice either. They were moving like this over and over. It didn't look like they were going to some specific place. It was like their jumping was completely random. It was almost like they were teleporting. What were they after? Gaia? Whatever it was, I didn't want them wandering around the facility doing as they pleased. They were pissing me off. especially since he's already pissed off. It's not really a good sign here, but it is what it is. But I couldn't use Gaia to predict their actions either. For starters, Lucia didn't even exist inside the Earth simulator. And then there was Pollon Takaoka. Every now and again, this guy did some weird stuff that messed with my projections. It happened during the hunt for Lucia and Nakano, and whenever he showed up since, Gaia's predictions were thrown into disarray. It's probably just getting worse and worse. The two of them were a real pain. But what could I do about them? Murder? Death? Killing them? Yay. Following my intuition, I pulled up the details of the places where they'd appeared. This facility housed a quantum computer, so it was designed to identify and analyze any quantum fluctuations that might hinder the QCDC. I checked the data and found numbers way higher than usual because that's what's being done here. I had the guy QCDC analyze the data and then left the control room. As I walked, I contacted Graham.
だが場所を特定できない。現在捜索中だ。
何のためにいるんだよ、お前ら。後で侵入者の場所を送るからテキパキ動け。
And they were so useless. I mean, no, they're not going to figure out where the fuck they are, especially if they're jumping around. Still, quantum teleportation then.
面白いことしてるじゃん。僕ならどうするかな。
The thought piqued my curiosity. Wait, what are we doing here? What the fuck? A wormhole simulation? I opened up Gaia and ran a simple experiment. Not a recreation of reality or anything, but a simulation that showed how things would look like with unrealistic parameters. I tried creating a means of connecting 2 points in space-time that were unimaginably distant from each other. A wormhole, basically. And then I ran a simulation. This method felt like cheating, given how utterly divorced from reality it was. There's a lot of shit divorced from reality going on in this story. It's nothing new. Following the simulation, the spaces surrounding the wormholes began rapidly collapsing. They were too unstable to maintain the wormhole. It was no wonder, of course. I'd basically warped space-time. But perhaps I could further stabilize the wormhole by adjusting some other parameters. This was a game I played with Gaia from time to time. I fiddled for a little while before the analysis was complete. The Gaia QCDC was as reliable as ever. Alright, guess we're gonna meet up here, and it's not gonna be a good meeting, I'm sure. I don't think it's not gonna be on nice terms, not at all.
まさかガイアのダミーがこんなにあるとは予想外だったぜ。
This was a top secret facility, but somehow Oz had gotten his hands on a basic map for us. It showed that the facility wasn't just within the Gaia Institution campus, but it stretched beneath Umanomori Park as well. We had an idea where Gaia could be, so we got Juno to take us there. But it turned out there was a load of places Gaia could be. We'd already jumped 3 times, and each place was a dummy room designed to look like it could house Gaia. There's no way they're going to put the actual Gaia on a map. Absolutely no way. They're not going to advertise it in any sort of way. They were all full of SFG soldiers too, excuse me. If we hadn't called on Juno to get us in, we'd have been caught immediately.
侵入者に警戒してますね。
Gaia could predict the future with insane accuracy, so it was way worse than any weapon known to man. All the security measures were probably to keep it safe in the event of terrorist attacks and stuff, but thanks to those measures, we hadn't come across Gaia yet, and we needed to find Gaia to get to Asuma.
そっちこそ一回飛ぶたびに休むなよ。軍に見つかるんじゃないかってヒヤヒヤするだろ。
Unless maybe she has to take a break?
無制限に飛べるとでも思ってたの？なわけないでしょ。
Yeah, there's gotta be a limit to her ability here.
それができてたらお前なんかに兄さんを奪われそうになってない。
I wasn't even trying to steal Kent, damn it.
休憩が必要なんですか？
はあ？何無邪気に聞いてきてんの？頭お花畑なの？
Opposition parties demand response from Minister of Defense Sunahara regarding Top Secret Earth Simulator Development. Damn, wish that scrolled a little faster. Apparently, if you hold Shift it will scroll faster, but everything moves quicker too. So I don't want to. All right, what is she saying? Oh, she's just complaining. Okay.
すみません。
Regular Juno
そんな
moment.
言い方ないだろ。
慣れ慣れしくするなってことよ。手伝ってやってるだけでもありがたく思いなさい。
Well, she didn't deny that she needed a break. Was it something to do with the satellite system she used?
次よ。座標をよこして。
クロス、頼む。
共有する。
Right now, we had no choice but to check every possible
行
place.
くわよ。
And this is probably where we're going to meet Asuma. In just a moment, and in total silence, the surroundings changed. It made me feel a nausea like VR sickness. My brain could not keep up. I think I know a little bit about that VR sickness. Headaches, dizziness, nausea, fatigue, and other negative effects of VR. There are multiple causes, but one of them is thought to be the discrepancy between what the body sees and what it feels, making it akin to the motion sickness some feel in moving vehicles. So I do sim racing. Like, I have a whole rig and everything over here for iRacing and all that. And I utilize it with VR. I use the Valve Index, but beforehand, I did use the Oculus Quest 2, which is now the Meta Quest, but you guys all know that headset, I'm sure. Good old Facebook and all. I think whenever I first utilized it, I had to kind of keep my times with it pretty brief because it was something very different than just looking at a monitor for driving. It's like you were there, but obviously you're not. And so it's absolutely a discrepancy. You do feel a little motion sick afterwards. And once I jumped over to the Valve Index, did my little upgrade to something better, I kind of felt it again, but not as severe because it was more clear and more smooth. So it was more convincing to the brain. So if you guys ever decide to get into VR, which I strongly recommend, it is so much fun, whatever you decide to do with it. Just be cautious, especially if you're going to be standing and doing something, because you will feel it. And not everybody can do VR either. Momo put her hand on her head. She didn't look too good.
予測通りだ。
Hello, child. Just as I predicted, I spun around to where the voice was coming from and saw Asuma. He was waiting for us.
なんだ向こうから寄ってきたじゃない。手間が省けたわね。じゃ、あとはうまく進めなさい。
Wait, you're leaving?
No!
Juno began walking away, clearly ready to leave.
おい、一人で逃げるのかよ。
私はお前の駒使いじゃないって言わなかった？そのうちお前を殺すこと諦めてないから。
Yeah, of course.
それと、もし兄さんの期待を裏切るようなら殺すわよ。
I guess we're dead anyways. So I'd be dead either way. Does the psycho think of anyone but herself? No. I didn't even feel like going after her anymore. Even if I did, she'd just escape on her own. Asuma didn't spare her a second glance either. Well, yeah, we're not his focus. It's definitely, or yeah, she isn't the focus. Pollon and Momo are his focus. He was glaring at us. We had nowhere to run. Not that we need to. I saw that little autosave up there. Let's keep our eyes peeled just in case. At least we had managed to meet him though. That was a plus. It meant that we had cleared the first stage. Oh, okay, we're saving. Well, I don't know. We definitely need to keep our eyes open here and very attentive as to what's going on.
お前と敵対するつもりはない。
勝手に入ってきてよくそんなこと言えるな。
Yeah, that's fair. Like, we can't really argue that one.
説明させてください。蘇我アスマさん。あなたのお母さんの命が危ないんです。
は?
We didn't know if it was going to be an accident or if someone was coming to kill her. But if his mom died, Asuma himself would somehow become the church's calamity. And this calamity would bring ruin to the world as it hurtled toward its end. It got us closer, well, it would have realigned into the fate line, right? All of our actions, how I've been seeing it, has been distancing us from the fate line, kind of going into its own separate direction. If we continue to go down the fate line, then yeah, the end of the world is all but certain. However, with us trying to kind of distance ourselves from it, they're trying to reel it back in. This is how they're trying to do it. That's how I get it. Like, or that's how I've been seeing this whole scenario here. We explained that to him as briefly as possible.
それは大変だね。なんて言うと思った。そんなオカルト話、よく信じる気になったな。話が適当すぎ。何もかも適当。情報としての価値ゼロ。
Wait until you see the weird ass shit we've seen.
お前らを信じる理由はない。むしろお前らが怪しい。
Shit, he wasn't buying it at all. Why would he?
危機はもう目の前まで迫ってるんだ。協力してくれ。
I wish we, like, had some facts that we can definitely throw his way to make him believe that, yeah, a dire situation is definitely on the way. But the only way we can do that is wait for things to fall apart and then jump back.
そもそもお前らの助けを借りなくても僕の母さんは安全だ。帰れよ。
アスマ！
気安く名前を呼ぶな！
おい、まずいぞ。
Wait, why is something bad?
おっさん、こっちは今取り込み中。
聞け！防衛省が動いた。特殊作戦軍に大臣が直接命令を下したんだ。
What?
命令？命令ってなんだ？
Are things about to get really flipped here?
外機関を制圧せよだ。
I think things are about to get really flipped here.
そこはすぐに戦場になるぞ。
Oh shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh.
まずい。ここにも兵士が。
Oh shit.
おい、ガイアを触らせるなよ。
ああ、だが、彼らどうやって入ってきたんだ？なぜ入れる？何かがおかしい。
そっちの様子を見せろ。
Yeah, that doesn't look all that ideal to have a fucking gun pointed at you. I checked the vision he shared with me. Ewan was right. The control room was full of soldiers who wouldn't normally have access.
よせ、そのコンソールに触らないでもらおう。誰の命令だ？こんなことをして。
The soldiers then pointed their guns at the camera, at Ewan.
何を？
And he's dead.
おい、何勝手に切ってるんだ。
I don't think he ended it by choice.
返事しろよ、ユアン。ユアン！一体どうなってる？
I checked the control room's camera. The feed displayed instantly. The real-time footage showed. Yeah, I don't think he's alive anymore.
Huh?
Which is super unfortunate. I'm sure we'll be jumping back, but I liked his character solely because of his fucking voice actor. What the hell? Who said you could die? I never once told you to die. Okay, Stewie, hold on.
君に気持ちよく仕事をしてもらうことだ。
Damn. Maybe he is loyal.
正直。
Wow. That is, unexpected, actually.
ガイアは僕のものだ。
わかった。それを果たすため、私のことはいくらでも使ってくれて構わない。君の指示に従おう。
Damn. Good way to build trust there, too.
特殊作戦軍に外機関の制圧命令が下ったらしい。ここはもう安全じゃない、アスマ。お前も、お前の母親も危険だ。
Yeah, starting to see how she could be, you know, possibly dying here shortly. So they were planning to cut me off, were they? But for as angry as I was, I would never allow anyone to dictate what I did and did not do. Never. Things are about to get a little political, and there's going to be a lot of bloodshed.
外 QCDC ネットワークからの切り離し完了。予定より50秒遅れ。
ライノリーダー、了解。
Upon hearing that, Graham let out a sigh. Wonder how he feels about the whole situation. Again, he is a soldier. It really is whatever. He'll do as he's obeyed. Though he didn't really agree with what he had to, you know, follow orders along with in the very beginning. It made no sense. Graham's group had been granted special administrative rights over the Gaia QCDC and Gaia. These rights once belonged to Asuma, but he was stripped of them the moment the mission started. If they could also put the Gaia QCDC into a standalone state, they could separate Asuma from Gaia. This was one step further toward a successful operation.
いるべき場所にいない？こちらの動きを読まれたのか？
No, not really. Just something else came up. Since Graham had started working with the Gaia Institution, Asuma never willingly went anywhere but those two places. This was unexpected. The operation was already going wrong.
アルファは封鎖を続行。ブラボー、チャーリー、捜索範囲を広げろ。ナラシノ、目標 B の居場所は特定できたが。
まだです。
I take it target B is his mother? If they found target B, yep, there it is, Asuma's mother, they could use her as a bargaining chip to neutralize him. But not even the supervisors, the government, and the MOD knew where she was, Ministry of Defense. They weren't expecting to find her during the operation, so she was deemed a secondary target.
隊長、本当にあの少年をその
Oh yeah, there's some doubt.
射殺してもいいんでしょうか。
Well, doubting that, but it was rare for the adjutant to use captain instead of the call sign. This was actually the first time he had ever questioned the operation while it was underway. Yeah, I'm sure he's got some shit going through his mind too. Well, he got to learn a little bit more about Asuma while, working here. We saw a little bit in the beginning of how he was trying to make sure that there was no shit going on with, spying on him. And he got to learn a little bit more from Ewan. So, yeah, he got to be a little familiar with this whole situation here, I'm sure. The question reminded Graham of the moment he was ordered to conduct this operation. Yeah, let's see what goes on here. Oh boy.
繰り返す。蘇我アスマを確保せよ。この件に関して対象の生死は問わない。以上だ。
Yeah, that's definitely going to create some conflict.
我々のすべきことは命令を確実に遂行することだ。
That was the answer Graham managed to wring from himself.
了解。
Yeah, he definitely cannot show that conflict from within to those working underneath him. As a leader, you must have like a definite answer, even if it's not the best one. But it is what it is. It's a fucking tough ass situation. The adjutant had more to say, but he chose to remain quiet and end the call.
国の偉い大人どもは子供一人に全ての責任を押し付けるつもりらしい。
His words were laced with bitterness. He knew full well that his feelings were at odds with what he had just said to the adjutant. Asuma was a cocky child who saw soldiers as pawns beneath him, and Graham didn't like him as a person either. But despite all that, Asuma was still a 14-year-old boy. Nobody could maintain their composure after being told to kill a child. But even so, soldiers had to follow orders, didn't they? Oh yeah, we're getting his mini arc here. We're gonna see him at odds with himself. Alright, well, back to this issue. I wonder if we'll be kind of temporarily working together here to escape, getting caught by soldiers, but I guess we'll find out in the next episode. That is all for this one. Yeah, again, sorry if the audio on my part is quieter or softer or not as great in this one. This is just an experiment, and if it didn't work out, then I'll change it back for the next one. So sorry for live experimenting on you guys, but it is what it is. Now, this was a good one. We're definitely stepping right into the whole next situation that we got planned here. It really is going to be just another big-ass roller coaster all the way to the end, because as I said in the end of the previous episode, I truly think that we have this whole predicament going on here, and then directly after, we got to save the world, and then that's bound to be it, right? That's everything that's kind of been talked about so far. The whole idea here, at least from Momo's side, is that we got to save the world, and that is coming up, and it's coming up rather quick. But I don't know, I could be wrong. Hopefully I am. I definitely want to see more from everybody, but it's what a fucking fast ass ride it's been, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.